Well, hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Not sure when you're watching this, but hello and welcome to Mastermind with Mendoza. We are starting a different format for other folks to get into the community. So some of you have been with me a long, long time, probably in the real estate arena with my coaching. But some of you are probably very, very new to this group and this community. Well, hopefully you enjoy it and love to hear feedback. I mean, I've been doing this a long, long time, and I'm always open-minded about um, listening to other people to get better. And some of it will be accepted, some of it will not, because of being in the business a long, long time. So yeah, I know what works, what sometimes doesn't work. And good morning, Mr. Steve. How are you?
Doing well. How you doing today, Joe?
Excellent, excellent. So yeah, we're getting started here, and super grateful you're here. Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry, muted myself. Happy Monday. Happy December. Good to be here.
Yeah, likewise, likewise. Super grateful you're here. You're definitely one of the serious ones, so I love it.
Just hanging with my dog here. There she goes. There's Blanca right
Oh,
there.
nice. Good looking dog. Awesome, awesome. So we're recording just an FYI, so
Yep.
this will be posted to whoever wants to see it.
Awesome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love it, man. I mean, you are very serious. It's out there, it's dark, you're walking, it's super cold.
It's not, man. It's not even that cold. It's not even -10, so it's about 15 Fahrenheit.
You know,
I'm only wearing one glove right now, man. It's not that bad.
I love it. I love it. That's a winner's attitude, Steve, right there. That's exactly why I want this group to just keep going and growing because I'm looking for the serious ones, the people that are willing to stretch.
When we do this in January, it might be -40. Then you can call me serious.
I love it. I love it. That's why I'm setting this up. Also, it's 6:30 in the morning Pacific, folks. So for some of you, I mean, if you're in Hawaii, it's probably really early. Some of you on the East Coast, it's probably, 9:30-ish. So I put it at a time that I think that some of you will probably enjoy, some of you not. But I also had to stretch myself because I got home around close to 1 o'clock this morning, so I had very little sleep.
Morning, Joe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm planning for a massive, massive year in 2026, and hopefully, the people that are in this community are wishing the same. So, depending when you're joining us, whether it's here early in December or in 2026, we're super glad you're here. All right, Steve. So, I definitely want to share a few things today, and kind of set you up for a great, great day, a great week. So I brought a couple different things, and feel free to interrupt, ask questions, whatever you want. This is really a mastermind, kind of like the ones we have on Tuesday, but I made it a little bit longer, and wanted to provide kind of different content. So it's not just going to be real estate related, okay?
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
All right, cool, 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 cool. So today, really what I wanted to talk about is the science and skill of staying motivated. And here we are in December, and this is a typical time, whether you're a realtor or not, this is a slow time of the year for most. People are thinking about Christmas and New Year's and shopping, and people start to wind down. But I'll tell you what, this is when the champions really push harder than ever because number one, they want to finish strong. Number two, they want to start an incredible year for the next year. Make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Especially in real estate in Calgary, this can be a time that's tough on the ego and tough on the motivation.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. And so basically, motivation isn't magic, it's a system. Motivation isn't magic, it's a system. I could share a story, true story. Prior to 2008, I was doing so well. I thought I walked on water. Thought I was very, very invincible at the time, at least in the real estate arena. And then guess what happened, Steve?
Market changed.
That's right, the
Yeah,
mortgage meltdown.
2008. That's right.
Yeah, I got crushed, Steve.
Yeah.
I got so crushed. So it was one of these things where, I mean, I had to hit the reset button, and literally I was just taking bumps and punches in the face until about 2014 when well, I was able to reset financially, mindset, what have you, and make another run. And I did, and I did very, very well. But today, what I wanted to share was some of the things that kept me motivated, some of the things that I wrote in my book, Make It a Comeback, and just, like I said, engage, interact, ask questions, whatever you want to do. Okay, Steve?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect, perfect. All right, cool. So, COVID was another time in the most recent time where I think it impacted a lot of people and probably the most relatable for most. So in COVID, that's when I actually wrote the book, Make It a Comeback. So folks, if you're watching this and you don't know Joe just yet, there is another book out there called Make It a Comeback. Now, granted, I wrote that book because I thought I literally was going to die because of COVID. So my writing skills aren't the best. I never took, uh, professional writing classes or courses or anything like that. And I got it out there, but there's a lot of tips in there to get you back on track if you need to as well. Why motivation fades? Without clarity, there's no purpose. Without clarity, there's no purpose. So people are just kind of floating around, just going through the motion. And so I would start there. Get crystal clear on what you really, really, really want. And I would encourage you maybe write this down. Steve, I know you're walking, but whoever's watching this, know
I'll write it
your
down. I'll write it down on the replay, Joe.
there you go, Steve. I love your style. I love your style. Why? WHY. What hurts you? More people are motivated by pain than pleasure, right, Steve? More people are motivated by pain than pleasure.
100%. It's hard to be motivated when everything's easy, right?
That's right. That's right. And when you know what they say, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. You look at every sports team out there, whether it's basketball, if it's football season here in America, not football like soccer, but American football. And I'll tell you what, the greatest teams on the planet, Tom Brady, whether you like him or not, was one of my favorites. And whenever he was down, you don't want to underestimate the guy because he's going to come back with a vengeance and finish strong. And so he's motivated by pain. When he gets kicked in the ass, you better believe he's going to fight harder than ever and he's going to win. And that's how I want everybody to be. Um, Steve, myself, everybody in my community. But I'll tell you what, like some of us need some extra training, extra motivation, um, and having a big why. For you, Steve, what is your big why?
Ooh. That's a two-part. Like, are you talking about why I do it, or are you talking about what hurts me?
All of the above.
I'll tell you what really hurts. What really hurts is any time where I feel like I don't have control of my destiny.
Hmm.
Right. That's the thing. That's one of the things that scares me the most. Right. So I think that, like you talked about COVID, the big challenge there, and there was, we had what a 4 or 5 week period here in Alberta and Calgary where we weren't allowed to practice real estate. Everything was shut down. We couldn't meet people in person. We couldn't go look at houses, and that was scary. Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
that scared a lot of people. We didn't know when we'd be able to do it again. We didn't know how it was going to look, right? And so, we internally with our group, we did a lot of motivational meeting. We did some group work through Zoom and through virtual meetings and stuff like that. But we really tried to stay positive because we knew it would end. But yeah, that month was tough because we couldn't control it. Like that's one of the things for me. Like if I can't control my destiny, if I can't control what my business is doing, that's what scares me the most.
I love that, Steve. That was seriously great feedback for today's session. And folks, what we call that is uncertainty.
Yeah,
Uncertainty, right?
that's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And so, folks, write that down is when you're feeling uncertain, that's when you lack confidence, lack clarity. Okay. So I really want you to be clear on that clarity. For Steve, it's uncertainty, uncertainty. And for somebody else, it might be something different. Another reason why motivation fades is you have no structure. In your day, you're just kind of just doing whatever, you're very reactionary. And for Steve, he's walking his dog, bright and early. You want to do something in the morning, your morning routine to create that motivation. And I want to give this tip to whoever, again, this is a recording, so some of you might be watching the playback. There's a thing called MEDS, MEDS. Steve, do you remember what that stood for?
No, I'm a bad student. I apologize.
Oh, no worries, no worries. So meds, guys, MEDS. In the morning, I want you to have a morning routine. Okay. You want to meditate or pray. M is meditate or pray. E, Steve's doing it right now. Exercise, even a
Nice.
brisk walk. A
Yep.
brisk walk early morning is exercise. If you're not a runner, start with a walk. Walk your dog. Diet, D, diet. D, that's very, very important. I went to my Thanksgiving dinner here in America this last few days ago, and my brother-in-law kept saying, "Dude, you lost a lot of weight." Well, a year before, here's what happened. Here's what happened. So we were exactly a year ago sitting together, all three of us, my brother-in-law, Roel, Ed, and myself, three of us, and we were sitting around. We just happened to be talking about weight. And I go, I think I'm about 160-ish, blah, blah, blah. And we brought out the scale, Steve, and guess what happened?
You weren't 160, were you?
I was way off, way off. Here I thought I was 160, which is my like normal weight, and I was like pushing 185.
Oh, man. Yep.
And I was like blown away. I was so in shock that I was all kinds of mixed emotions, Steve. And the guys started laughing. I started laughing in myself, but deep down inside, I was like, "Holy shit!" You what what happened? I just lost control. So anyway, I created that structure and I really paid attention to my diet. And if I don't work out, I want to make sure I'm eating right, and whether it's intermittent fasting, which I do a lot of, or just really paying attention to my diet. I mean, lo and behold, fast forward a year later, my brother-in-law, Roel, dude, you are skinny. I go, yeah, I worked on it.
So are you actually 160 now?
Oh yeah, I'm back to 160. Yeah,
Good man.
yeah,
Good man.
yeah, yeah. I'm back to 160. Sometimes I'll push 162, but that's like water weight or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I dropped 20 pounds year over year, and it was really paying attention to diet, exercise. The last one, guys, is S, sleep. Sleep is very,
Yes.
very, very important, folks. I mentioned earlier, if you're watching this recording, I got home around 1, and I woke up at 5, and do the math, that's 4 hours of sleep. That's not very good, folks.
That's not a good start to December, Joe.
No, no. How many hours of sleep did you get, Steve?
I got about 7 last night.
Wow.
Yeah, I went down about 10:30, got up just after 5:30.
Good man. Good man. Well, I'll have to give a little backstory so people understand. So, LA is one of the craziest traffic in America. And my son, he was here for Thanksgiving holidays. We dropped him back off at UCLA. And so we wanted to avoid the traffic. So we left at like pushing 8 o'clock at night, right? And it takes almost 2 hours to get there and another 2 hours to get back. And hence, that's why I got home so late. Um, but I'm doing this mastermind, this group meeting for Steve and Candace and Len and for all the amazing people I coach and mentor. I'm really wanting to push this community for everybody out there who wants to participate and go and grow like Steve. Overwhelm is a big reason why motivation fades. Overwhelm. And so I want you to pay attention to that. If you feel like your motivation is slipping, is there's probably way too much on your plate. Okay. So you want to remove some stuff off your plate. In other words, maybe create a list of what we call stop doing. Stop doing. And when you create this list, you're going to find out that some of it was really of no importance at all. And some of you, guilty, guilty, guilty myself, is maybe scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, what have you. I'm trying to limit it as much as possible and delegate it to my team, my assistants, my VAs, etc. Some of you just need to stop going on social media. You have too much on your plate. Don't make that a priority. There's a book out there, Traction by Gino Wickman and Rocket Fuel by Gino Wickman. Two of the greatest books out there on prioritizing. What are your rocks? What are your rocks? Okay, these should be the very, very top of your list. Everything else should be like sand filling up in that bottle. And if you don't know what I mean, read the books, and I'll probably explain it on a different coaching session or mentorship session. It's essentially you get a jar, and the most important things you should put in there first is the biggest rocks or boulders, right? And that's going to fill up the jar the quickest. Then everything else is small, minutia. And believe it or not, they take smaller rocks, pebbles, and then sand. And believe it or not, that is your life in a jar. You could put so much in that jar, but you want to put the big stuff in there first to kind of prioritize your day and your life. And just in the FYI, Steve, I'm not sure if you're doing this on purpose, but you're on mute and no camera. But just an FYI.
I apologize. Yeah, I just came in the house, so I'm getting myself sorted here.
Oh, okay, okay. Just want to make sure because I don't know
Yeah,
if you were trying to talk or whatever.
I'll be back in just a minute.
All right, perfect. I'll keep
But
going.
I'm
I'll keep
still
going.
here. I'm still here because
Love
I,
it,
I
love it.
like what you're saying about I like what you're saying about getting rid of the extraneous stuff, right? And really focusing on the activities and the practices that are going to help you build your business rather than serve as distractions, right?
Exactly correct, Steve. Exactly correct. And some of you, it might mean dropping out of a club, dropping out of a networking group. And I'll tell you what, this is a great time to take a reflection on the year. It's December 1st, 2025. Look at all these different clubs, volunteer organizations, this and that. Some of you might be doing too much. And I'll tell you what, last year, I did this on purpose. I had about 50 coaching clients last year, 2024. This year, I dropped it down, believe it or not, to about a dozen. And I did that on purpose because I said, I'm going to focus more on real estate and other stuff. And lo and behold, it worked. My income didn't really change that much at all, as far as, my net, but I reprioritized to shifting gears, putting more time to my other businesses and to my favorite coaching clients that are coachable, no big egos, that want to grow, that were showing up like Steve, that really was doing the homework, following through, and it worked. And so you guys got to prioritize like what's your priority. For me, it was my real estate business and other businesses for 2025, and it worked. Yeah, it was a little bit, I had some uncertainty, like we talked about earlier, Steve, but I believed in myself and I went for it, and it really worked. Um, so that was part of why motivation fades. Key point here: you don't lose motivation, you lose direction. You don't lose motivation, you lose direction. So think about it like a compass. I am hoping to be one of your compasses in life. Whoever's watching this, listening to this, Steve, been coaching with me a long time. I'm hoping to be your direction. So, like, if you go off track, a great reason why to have a coach is accountability to put you back on the tracks and be your compass. Because again, you don't lose typically your motivation, you lose direction, and part of having a coach is to put you right back on track. Um, the other thing that I want you to consider or write down is identity. Identity. Where motivation grows is when your identity grows. The more motivated you are, the more things you want in life, you will shape your identity. Because you think about all your friends, family that aren't that motivated. They're not like strivers. They're like just, for a lack of a better word, they're kind of average or mediocre. Are they wanting more? Do they want to grow? And I'm not just talking finances. You look at the most fit people in your life. For Steve, you look at some of the great basketball players that you work with or play with, they want to grow. They want to get better. They're practicing their free throws. They're practicing their three pointers, and they get better. And so that's their identity is they want to be a better basketball player. Well, they're paying the price, right?
Can I tell you a funny story about that, Joe?
Go for it, please.
A number of years ago, I had a real honor. I was asked to referee a scrimmage, a practice session with the Canadian national women's team, and they were playing against a men's college team in
Wow.
this scrimmage, right? And so one of the team that the men's team is a team that I've seen a lot, and they had a guy on that team. He's like 6'6", 6'7", but really thin and relatively soft. And early on in this scrimmage, he would go for a rebound, and one of the ladies would kind of put an arm bar on his hip, and he couldn't jump. And he'd try to jump, and he'd just fall down. And there's no foul there; like they're both kind of holding position. And this happened a few times, and eventually the national team coach called a timeout, and the lady who had just been dominating this poor kid, and he's lying on the ground after he's fallen down again. She just drops the ball in his chest and looks at him and says, "Are you actually going to get a rebound? Or are you going to lie there all day?" And I had a chat with him I had a chat with him afterwards. We were talking about that and why this isn't a foul and the difference between strength and strength, right? And I asked him, like, how often do you go to the gym? And he said, well, I try to get there twice a week. And I said, okay, she's been in the gym 5, 6 days a week for 10 years. Like that's the difference, right? The commitment, the dedication. And I think you and I say this a lot, and I hear this from Len a lot too on our team. It's consistency. Like if you're consistent and you're practicing with purpose and you're, in business, you're doing your business practices purposefully, that's what separates the excellence from just the average person, just the average athlete or the average business person. That's one of the stories I carry with me about what it takes to excel. It's just to do to do the right things consistently because it's the difference is so obvious after a number of years, right?
I love that, Steve. I love that. And it was one of the things that I said to myself this morning, whether one person shows up or nobody shows up, I am going to show up
Yeah.
because it goes back to like what you do in private will reflect how you're going to play in public, right? And nobody's
100%.
watching you. When
Yeah.
you're doing the reps by yourself and running by yourself or practicing the free throws by yourself, nobody's watching you. That's
Yeah.
private, but it shows up in public how successful you are. And I love that story, Steve, because that little difference that will separate somebody from being a national champion versus average or mediocre.
Yeah, like and and the lady in question, she's still playing professional basketball. Like and she's been in the WNBA for 8 or 9 years now, right? And so
Wow.
like I see her play once in a while on TV, and I think, yeah, there's no doubt she was going to play there.
Wow. Wow. I love it. I love
Yeah,
it. That's awesome. What a great story, Steve. What a great story. And then you want to ask yourself again, the quality of the questions you ask yourself will determine the quality of your lifestyle. Remember
yeah.
that, folks. The quality of the questions you ask yourself will determine the quality of your lifestyle. A big, powerful question, Steve, who do I need to become to hit my next level? We're talking like 2026. Who do I need to become? When you have a big, big goal for next year, you can't be the same person you were this year. You cannot, right? Right?
Absolutely. Like we have to evolve, right? We have to
That,
grow. Yeah.
that's right. That's right. That's right. And again, part of why I'm doing this, folks, this mastermind 6:30 is not very convenient for me either. So I'm wanting to grow. I'm wanting to grow, and whoever shows up, whether it's Steve, Candace, Len, TJ, anybody else that shows up, I want to grow with you. So you're helping me keep accountable to myself, and that's awesome. That's where the motivation, the magic happens for all of us. All right. Number two, you might want to write down again to structure. How do you make motivation come back naturally is structure. And Steve covered it a little bit earlier about discipline, and that's exactly correct.
Yeah.
We need more structure in our life. And some of you, you made this commitment for coaching, and I made it for at least right now less than a gym membership. I mean, for people that I'm already coaching, they're in this circle, they've got the privilege, but other people outside of my circle just getting into this circle, it's less than a gym membership, less than $1 a day. And why? Because a couple things. If you pay, you pay attention. If you pay, you pay attention. Okay. And secondly, I wanted to make it super, super, super affordable for anybody. You know, if you're thinking about the investment, it's less than $1 a day. Steve, what's really cool, I spoke at my local college university right down the street from me, and I happened to run across a college basketball player and he's wanting mentorship and guidance and hopefully he starts to show up more over here, but I know he's showing up on my excuse me, on my December 4th um, business planning session. And he's a college kid. They barely make any money. I know with my kids I don't try to give them everything, and I want them to struggle a little bit because it builds character, right? And so like I'm not going to give them anything everything they want. And to be a broke college kid, well, that's part of the program. Dad's not going to give you everything. So this young man, I know he even shared with me he doesn't make a lot of money, whatever. But I do want to give him stuff that will help him out. And so he, hopefully will show up this Thursday. And then any college kid, when you get into the community or not, think about your gym membership. I went to the gym yesterday and I saw a lot of, very fit athletes in there. And you want to also invest in yourself, in your mind, and build that structure around success. This is going to be part of it. So stay in the community, show up every single month. It's going to be monthly. And I'm going to do other stuff also to help everybody out. Emotional energy. Energy drives motivation. Another big one we talked about is sleep. Sleep is very, very important, guys. When you don't have good sleep, you will lose motivation whether you like it or not. It's not very sustainable. I know myself, I drink a lot of coffee, and that's not very good. Steve, you have your coffee. Right, right. There's that fine line where you wanna make sure that you also sleep because if you're an athlete,
Yeah.
part of sleep is recovery, and that's important for your muscles to grow. If you're just pushing and pushing and you're not giving your body enough time to recover, well, you're going to keep pushing and you're not going to see growth in your muscles. And so you want to make sure you get enough sleep there. Any feedback there, Steve?
Yeah, 100% on the sleep. As you know, like we talked about, I'm writing it down right now, by the way. I'm writing down meds, by the way.
Good, good.
Uh, but we talked about all the aspects of that. Um, but sleep is really important. And we talked about recovery because if when you talk about you drink too much coffee, it helps you go a little bit longer, but then you need extra recovery because you've overextended yourself. You've artificially extended yourself that way. And whether you're an athlete or a business person or whatever, you need to have the physical and mental recovery that you get from good sleep, from a good quality sleep. Like that's like you just can't do without that, right? And the pro athletes, what are they doing before a game on game day? They're having a nap so that they
Yeah.
can be sharp physically and mentally during the actual competition.
100%. All these athletes, I've trained multiple different sports. Even just in high school, I remember like if you had game day the next day, you are going light on practice and coach is sending you home to get your rest, get your sleep, what have
Yeah.
you. And so you want to make sure you make that a high, high, high priority. Okay, start small. If you really want to bring motivation back in your life and success back in your life, start with some small wins. Start with some small wins.
Mhm.
Hit that reset button where like for me, I mean, Steve, I don't know if you know this, but I signed up for a half marathon in February. Did I share that?
Yes. Yeah, you did.
Wow, I'll tell you what, like, man, the last time I ran a half marathon was umpteen years ago, like 10 plus years ago. Long time, long time. And so, folks, I started running on the treadmill or maybe a brisk walk. And so you want to start really, really small with some of those small wins. And I'll tell you what, I'm back to like the last 3 or 4 days, I hit 3 miles a day every single day. And that was like
Nice.
3 or 4 days straight that I was either running around the neighborhood or in the gym or a combination. And then I'll walk my dog either once or twice a day on top of that. And so those are small wins.
Yeah.
And I'm really feeling like, okay, February is right around the corner. I think I can do it. I can do it.
It's incremental steps, right? Like it really is the incremental steps. You start with the first step and you proceed from there. That's how it all begins, right?
100%.
Absolutely.
100%. Here's a big one. If you want to bring back motivation, staying motivated back in your life, remove decision fatigue. Remove decision fatigue. Some of you folks out there may be listening to this. Um, you're getting ready to never get started. You have one too many decisions on your plate, and you can't make a decision because there's too many decisions to make. Well, just pick one. Pick one and stick to it. And my coach used to always say something like this: if it doesn't kill you, if it will not end your life or cost you millions of dollars, just make a decision. Just make a decision. If you make a mistake, start over,
Yeah.
right? Start over. I told my kids we went to Italy over the summer. we made some mistakes, being not part of the country, not speaking the language, not being there, as our day to day. We made some mistakes. And I told them, like, hey, guys, money is replaceable, time is not. Time is not. And some of you are running out of time because you're taking way too much time making a decision. Just make a decision, right? And Steve being here this morning, I mean, that was a decision Steve made to be here. And I'll tell you what, I sent this out to a lot of people. And Steve, you're one of the few that showed up. And so good for
I'm
you.
I'm going to be having some words with a few of those people too.
Good, 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 Steve. Good. That's what you need to do. I love it. I love it. And
Yeah.
yes, whoever's watching this, you need to be here the next time because I'll tell you what, like showing up's half the battle. You could all right, look at this. We got somebody else. All right. Welcome, Evelyn. Welcome, welcome. Super glad you're here and grateful you're here. So we're talking about motivation and we're talking about a lot of different tips to stay motivated. This is why you want to show up and be here is we're talking about remove the decision fatigue. Remove the decision fatigue. Folks, just make a decision. Make a decision. The habit number three, I wrote down a bunch of notes. These are, if you're following along, we call this environment engineering. Environment engineering. This is a time of the year, Steve, Evelyn, that I love, love, love a lot because I purposely like try to clean up my office, my environment, my house, my garage to hit the reset and start over. Some of you want to start with just your desk. Okay. When you go on vacation coming up, most of you celebrate around Christmas and take the last 2 weeks of the year off. That's fine. Clear your desk, clear the clutter, hit the reset because when you start January 1st with a clear desk, we call that environmental engineering, decluttering. Because when you have a messy desk, a messy house, it's typically a sign of a messy mind. And to some degree, I'm an artist, visionary, so I'm not knocking those folks. I'm not, but there's a certain degree where you want to declutter where it gets a little too excessive, right? Um, the C's and the S's out there, if you know disc personality, you're very, very organized. That's how you normally operate. Well, visionaries and artists, we're messy. Okay. I want to talk to you, especially when you go into next year, January 1st, you want to have a clear desk, a clear garage, a clear house, clean house. Start fresh, okay? And maybe even make it a habit every single month. December 1st today, it's bright and early, declutter. Throw your, go through your mail. Start with that. Throw out all this junk mail, all these newspapers, these magazines you're not reading, throw them out, okay? Throw them out. Another one I want you guys to write down to really create great motivation for your success. Have a tracking system. Have a tracking system. Okay. What are the metrics you're measuring? If you're going to be in the business plan on the 4th of December, this Thursday, we're going to go into heavily more of those numbers. And if you're not, you got time, sign up, register, but be there on Thursday. For real estate, the bare minimum is what we call your hour of power. The bare minimum is what we call your hour of power. Do you remember what the 554 are, Steve?
I think I'm on the wrong track here, but I've got because I do 555 where I use five texts, five emails, and five calls. But that's a small segment of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good point. That is a metric you want to measure because that will move the needle for your business. In Tom Ferry, in our kind of ecosystem, our 554 is call five people you know, 5 people you don't know, and
That's
4
right.
lead follow-ups. Now,
Yeah.
how you do this is more tactical, like Steve said, is if you don't call them or talk to them, I would encourage you to send a text, an email, or a DM. And some of you really need to write this down. Maybe set up a Google Sheet or an Excel file or whatever. And so you every single day you have a checklist. I'm going to do 5 texts, 5 emails, 5 voicemails, 5 DMs. I'll tell you what, when you do that every single day to new people every single day, you watch what happens to your business. You're going to have an explosion. Okay. And typically we see the explosion every 90 days. Okay. So it takes about 90 days in real estate, especially to create that momentum to see the results. And that's why I always tell people if you're going to do your business plan, have it done by October. Because if you're starting in December, you're a little late. You already lost maybe 2 months. You want to start. So next year, folks, if you're going to do your business plan, make sure it's done in October. For Steve and a few of you folks that did them, good for you. Make sure now you're implementing it by doing the hour power, the 5 5 4s, or the 3 5s, like Steve said, 5 emails, 5 texts, 5 DMs to every single person. You watch the needle move. Okay. Um, optimize your energy. Optimize your energy. Okay. Steve, you might relate to this. Did you run track by chance?
I ran track as part of my training to play football.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
good. Good,
Yeah.
good, good,
So
good.
yeah, 100 and 200 sprints. Yeah.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So you might relate to what I'm about to share. So, like in business, if you want to really have that motivation, keep going, folks, sometimes you have to like sprint. Sometimes you have to train like you're doing a marathon. In track, when I used to run track, just imagine a track, it's like an oval. There's a straightaway, 2 straightaways, and 2 curves makes that oval, right? And in track, to build up our speed and our quickness in track, we'd like run straight real fast. We'd sprint our hardest, and then when we hit the turn, we just walk. We'd run the straightaway, we'd sprint super hard. When we hit the turn, we just walk and recover.
Yep.
Straightaway, sprint real hard, hit the turn, walk. Okay. In your business, you want to create that kind of regimen or routine. And I'll tell you what, if you're doing real estate or one of these service kind of businesses, insurance, loan officer, loan originator, whatever, and you want nights and weekends, well, you better do the straightaway. You better do the sprint Monday through Friday. Monday through Friday. You go want to work like there's no tomorrow every single day, Monday through Friday, so you get the nights and weekends off. I'm coaching somebody, Steve, here in Orange County. They make over 1 million a year. But guess what, Steve? They're burnt out. They
Oh
are
yeah.
so burnt out because they don't have that mentality of like, okay, when do we actually take a break? So part of my coaching is I tell them, hey, you know what? If you're going to work that hard, at least take Sunday off.
Yep.
Most people aren't working Sunday. So, hey, go to church, hang out with your family, go to the gym, go to the beach, do whatever, but take one day off. And I was coaching somebody else. They implemented that. And lo and behold, it actually didn't change their income and they felt so much better.
Yep.
They felt so much better. And so, folks, think about when you're running track, think about your business. When I want you to go into creating that motivation, once in a while, you're going to have to sprint. Once in a while, just pace yourself, train it like a marathon, and you'll get your motivation back. Um, accountability loops, we call them accountability loops. If you want to get that motivation back, Man, some of you need some accountability. And again, why I formed this community, man, some of you, this community, some of you need just to be part of this group to get that motivation back. And part of showing up here on Monday once a month will help you get that accountability. And if you want more than that, like Steve, get into coaching. Get into coaching where you're meeting with me on a weekly basis and we're really talking shop and we're going deeper and deeper and deeper on your business. Go to a retreat once a year. You know, in San Diego, we have the Elite retreat coming up in January, and you break away because you need to once in a while what we call sharpen the axe and work on your business versus in your business. And some of you need to really build that into your yearly business plan where I would say I would recommend the best is 4 events per year, 1 event per quarter. Every single 90 days, you want to sharpen the axe and go to 1 event per quarter. For some of you, again, it'll be once a year because that's maybe all your schedule, your budget will allow. Some of you need to step it up where it's once in the winter, once in the summer, once in the winter, once in the summer. And I'll tell you what, everybody should do some kind of form of that once a year, twice a year, or once a quarter. Okay, where you're going to a retreat. And some of you I want to talk to, again, this is recording. I want to talk to you. Maybe you're doing really, really good in business. Maybe you're doing very, very well financially. Well, guess what? You probably need a spiritual retreat or a marriage retreat, a spiritual where you get back to your faith, get back to your religion, get grounded, get that meditation or Buddhism or whatever you believe in, or your marriage, right? Because you're doing so well in your business, but guess what? Your relationship and your marriage took the lowest priority. And guess what? You need a retreat on your marriage or yourself.
Absolutely. Even Evelyn agreed. I saw that in the chat.
Oh, cool.
100%. Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. I'm not paying attention to the chat. Thank you. All right, Evelyn, glad you're agreeing and glad you're here. So feel free to jump in anytime. You might be multitasking, but I'm super grateful you're here. Okay. And just FYI, spread the good word. This will be once a month, 6:30 Pacific, and whoever wants to join us. And part of why I ask people to pay, just to pay attention, get committed. And if you're in my inner circle already, I'm not asking you to pay. This is nothing extra. You get it for already being in my group, and I'm super grateful you're in my inner circle. Okay, then let me go to, oh, here's a big one. You might want to write down this. And this goes back to earlier, Steve, about what hurts you. Some of you have pleasure goals, right? They're more like fun and exciting. Tell me about your pleasure goals, Steve.
Oh man, that one's easy, man.
Tell me or tell
No,
us.
like the pleasure goals, the big one is being able to travel more and experiencing more of the world with my wife and with my family. Um and and showing our kids other parts of the world as well. That's the pleasure goal right there.
Can I coach you a little bit right now?
Absolutely.
Okay, where do you want to go?
Oh, there's several places we haven't hit yet. I
Okay,
know
pick one.
my oldest wants to go to Japan.
Okay, good. What part?
He hasn't decided yet, but I know that it's going to be for me. If I when I take him, it'll be a little bit of Tokyo, and we'll do a little bit of the countryside to see, get out and see Fuji and things like that. So
Perfect, perfect. Okay,
yeah.
good. Good, good, good. So talk to your son and write this down. Put a deadline. Put a deadline. Okay, you want to go to Japan by when? Next year? 10 years from now? It's kind of like when you put that date on calendar, you're committed. When you book the flight, you're committed.
Hmm.
Flights, guys, are refundable, or you have these credits. So book it. book that flight. Are you flying first class, business class, coach? When you
Oh,
really get
he can fly coach.
good, 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 good. And write that down. Write that down because the more clarity you have, the more purposeful you are, the your motivation will get you really excited about getting to Japan. Again, you're either motivated by pain or pleasure. And if you're a pleasure seeking person, one of the exercises is like, hey, what kind of car do you want to drive? And when I throw that out, okay, I want a Lambo. Okay, what color? What model? Right? You want to get very, very specific what kind of stuff you want because this will bring your motivation back. Again, we're talking about motivation on Monday. All right, motivation on Monday. Um, what else here? Oh, this is something that you might want to put down today. Okay, for some of you watching this, or Steve, Evelyn, and whoever else, today's December 1st. Create a 90-day sprint. Just pick one goal. Pick one goal. I don't care what it is. Take 10 listings, do 10 sales, achieve one acquisition. Just pick one. Okay. And when you write that down, that one goal, we're going to do a 90-day sprint and then write down why. Why do you want this goal so badly? Why do you want this goal so badly? Okay, then next one. Okay, what are the habits? What are the habits we're going to do to make sure we hit that goal? What are the things we're going to do, the habits, the disciplines we're going to do to hit that goal? What are we going to stop doing? Stop doing. Okay, within this next 90 days, and Steve, if you want to share, please do. Pick one goal, 90 days. What is it going to be? Why you want to do it? What is the habits you want to create? And what are you going to stop doing? Do you want to share?
Yeah, I'll give you one that I'm going to start doing, and no, number one is I'm going to have one recruiting conversation every day
I like it. Why do you want to do it?
because we're looking at growing our team very strategically. And we're targeting a very specific kind of realtor, and so I'm going to target one of those people every day for a conversation.
Love it. So, one recruiting conversation daily. Why? Because he wants to grow the team. I love it. And then what are we going to stop doing to make this a habit?
I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop trying to decide who I'm calling first, and I'm just going to start at the top of the list.
I like it. I like it. And this is something that I'm going to put in the chat, and maybe you could figure out what this means. Hopefully you do, Steve or Evelyn. What does JFDI mean?
I know what that means.
Okay, so do
That's
by
that's
the
what that's
laugh.
what that's what Nike almost said 50 years ago.
There you go, folks. That's exactly correct. Okay, and you could figure out the F. And put that on there. Put it by your phone, put it by the mirror, and put that goal down. One recruiting conversation daily. One recruiting conversation daily. And here's what I would challenge you to do. Okay. And you can't pick me because I'm not there every single day. I would pick out Candace, Len, your wife, your kids as an accountability partner.
Mhm.
As an accountability partner. Okay. And pick one of them that that you could see every day. Or if you want to use this group, you pick Evelyn as your accountability partner or somebody in this group and you have a bet. I'll tell you what, like, did I share with you my cat food bet a while back or no?
No. Oh.
Oh man, I'm glad I'm sharing, kinda. So so I'll share this because some of you, like Steve, maybe Evelyn, some of you never heard his story. I play, or I do my best to play at the highest level possible. Even today, like I said, I barely slept 5 hours and I'm here. Um, I had an accountability partner, Herlinda. She was here in Chula Vista, San Diego. Herlinda was amazing. Her and I were, our production was almost the same. We were going to events. We were very committed to coaching. She was a great workout business accountability partner. So one day I said, "Hey, Herlinda, you know what? Next month, I want to hit 10 listings. I want to hit 10 listings. And I want you to really hold me accountable to this, okay? I need you to bug me every day. I need to check in, vice versa. And if I don't hit 10 listings by the end of the month, I'm eating cat food." You're exactly right, Steve. You're cringe if you haven't seen it,
Ugh.
guys.
Yeah, hell no.
So here is the truth, guys. True story. So Herlinda, she was on me, and she was pushing me, and I was very close to the end of the month. I already had like 9 listings. I needed one more, and I was like, worked as hard as I possibly could, and guess what? Nope.
Oh,
Steve, I didn't hit my goal. I didn't hit
oh
my
man.
goal. And yeah, it was all man because I knew I was eating cat food. I'm a man of my word. And it was so gross. I was so sick. I literally ate a can of Purina cat food, the wet, moist, yucky stuff.
Oh man. I was
I
even
got,
thinking it better not be Purina. Oh.
oh, it was so, it was almost like food poisoning, Steve. I probably should have went to the hospital and I probably should have not done that bet.
Oh man.
But I ate it in front of in front of my team, and I was so sick. But you know what? The following month, Steve, this is why momentum and why doing something is like that is so important to you, your goal, to your confidence, to all of the above. Guess what happened the following month with no bet?
Oh, you got your 10?
I got 11.
Yeah, man.
I got 11. I
Yeah.
got 11 because I pushed so hard, created so much momentum. I created it so much of a habit. I had a big pipeline that I hit 11 the following month. No bet. No
Yeah.
bet. And so, folks, that's what I want you to do is those following steps. If you want to get motivation back, if you want to create momentum back, number one, create a 90-day motivation plan. Pick your goal, why you want to do it, create the habit, remove anything that might get in the way, a stop doing list, and have an accountability partner. And that's exactly what happened to me when I set a goal to hit, excuse me, 10 listings. Yeah, I hit 9 1 month. The next month I hit 11, right? And so it was a win all the way around. Make sense, Steve?
Absolutely. I'm not eating cat food though.
Pick bets that, like I said, either motivate you, pleasure, or pain that hurt you,
Yeah.
right? And it's one of those things that, like, another example, like in our Tom Ferry ecosystem, there were two heavy hitters that set bets with each other, and one of them lost. Here was, I don't know if you're willing to do this, Steve, or I'm just giving ideas for some of you out there. The person that lost was in his boxers in front of a car wash and held like a sign, "I lost a bet with Steve, and so I'm doing this. I'm sorry, I'm a loser." He was in his boxers in front of a car wash. Like that was his like, hey, if I lose, that's my bet. That was painful. Evelyn says she's ready, Steve. So if you want an accountability partner, She's ready. Put your information in the chat and definitely connect. Evelyn's a player. I mean, she is a go-getter. She's a runner. She has high ambitious goals. I've coached her multiple times. She would be a great accountability partner, Steve. So definitely connect with Evelyn.
I'm putting my email on my phone in there right now.
And vice versa, Evelyn, do the same.
Yes, I'm willing to bet in money. That's where it will be.
There you go. There you go, Steve. You
This
want a
is
money
cash
bet?
money, huh? All right.
And it's US, man. You'll get more.
I pay out in Canadian dollars.
Evelyn, just an FYI, Steve's in Canada. But Ben, I think Venmo works there, right?
No, we have it like we use Interac, but I can hook up. I can figure out a way to wire money. But it's gonna like I said, it's gonna be Canadian dollars. It'll be
All right.
multicolored.
I know Wise is worldwide. Wise,
Yeah, we use
W-I-S.
Wise. We use Wise a lot. Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go. Set up a Wise account, Evelyn, Steve, place a bet and pick your 90-day goal. Do you have the goal come? Oh, you already said yours, Steve. How about
Yeah.
you, Evelyn? Do you have a goal for 90 days?
Not 90, I have 30, but now the way that you explained it, the whole momentum, yes, definitely 90 days is a must right now.
Okay. If you have a 30-day, you could set that goal up with Steve, then shorten the frame if you want. Do you have what's your 30-day?
Well, I definitely need to get back to cold calling. I do have a cold caller full time. She's great. She brings me leads, but there's nothing better than doing your own calls. You just put in more effort into your clients. So I do want to get back to at least minimum 200, 500 calls per week and go to at least 4 appointments per week, total of 20 per month. That's what I used to do before, but I'm trying to not have having a baby. I'm not trying to have the baby be an excuse, but I'm also not trying to work more than spending time with my son. So I'm trying to work 50% and 50% be with my son. I'm not sure if that's how I should be thinking. I'm still trying to get the hang of being a mother, but I do feel guilty working more when I'm not with my son.
And just a little context, Evelyn. Number one, congratulations for being a mom. Number two, I couldn't relate when I didn't have any kids. I couldn't relate to my coaching clients. When I had kids, I showed so much empathy because having kids is a game changer. It's an absolute game changer. So, what I would share with you, Evelyn, just some insight. Let's pick one goal for 30 days. You know that'll move the needle. And for most people, it is the hour of power and 554s. If you said something like 200 to 250 to 500 contacts, I think you said, I would number one, pick one, very specific. And then I would put the dialer telemarketer on the side because that's different. Okay. Pick this goal where it's you. The luxury to have what we call check equity, guys, I do the same. I buy leads, I have dialers, I do the same, but sometimes that handicaps us from doing what we need to do. Okay. And if they're not performing, then it really hurts our business. If they're not performing and then we're not performing, we just compounded our losses. And so, what I would do, Evelyn, is whether you pick the 30-day or 90-day, maybe figure this out between now and tomorrow. Connect with Steve and tell him, hey, Steve, you know what? I picked my 30 or I picked my 90. If you want to pick 30, that's fine. I would just say, pick a goal. If it's 30, connect with Steve and just say, hey, you know what, Steve? I'm gonna pick, okay, to break it down, if I'm gonna do 500 contacts a week or just 250, okay, if you do simple math, that's 50 contacts a day, right? 50 contacts a day or 50 dials a day. Now, there's a big difference, folks. I want you to remember this. When you write goals down, you want to be very specific and you really want to know, okay, what was I really measuring? Was I measuring dials or contacts? Because there's a big difference. And here's what I want to also add on your hour of power and contacts. For some of you, you need to start with contacts. With some of you, you need to move beyond contacts and go for appointments and contracts signed. What do I mean? Well, coaches, we joke. We joke about the hour of power and this thing called contactitis. With some newer folks, again, there's newbies, there's veterans. With newbies, you need to get in the habit of making contacts. With experienced people, you really need to focus more on appointments and contracts signed. Contacts is to create momentum, create the habit. But once you got beyond that, hey, we need to focus on scoring points. It's about winning. And so appointments and contracts signed will really put money in the bank. Contacts will eventually put money in the bank, but I'll tell you what, I'd rather call 5 expireds than 5 random cold calls. 5 expireds versus 5 random phone calls or 5 for sale by owners than 5 random cold calls. Why, Steve?
Oh, those guys are motivated.
Exactly correct. And like, this is why, as a coach, you need an expert to kind of guide you because some of you, as what I was also hearing you say, Evelyn, you want to work smarter. You want to work smarter. And I'm totally with you because when you become a mom, I mean, you want to be the greatest mom ever. And I mean, I don't know if you were here or you missed it, but I was sharing with Steve earlier. Money is replaceable, time is not. When you become a mom, you don't want to have this guilt feeling like, man, I miss the soccer game. Man, I miss the basketball game. Man, I miss my son's birthday. You don't want to be that mom. And I'll tell you what, there's some people out there that have lived their life where they put business and finances their highest. And what I said earlier about, your relationship bank account was terrible being a mom, being a dad, and you want to make sure, like, yeah, you might be super successful in business and finance. Well, let me do uh, like a check under the kimono or pull up under the hood. Let me see what's going on in your spiritual life. Let me see what's going on in your marriage life. Let me see what's going on with your physical life. And for me, hopefully for most of you, you want to be like 80 to 90 to 100% in all. Because remember, the wheel of life, if your wheel is not rotating properly, is because something is off. And it's usually one of the 5. Is it finance, business, relationship, physical, or spiritual relationships? And so remember that you want to be like 80 to 100% almost all the time on all of them. And really, it really depends on your priority in life. Like some of you, it might need to be finances where, okay, if I need my finances to step up, maybe I need to make a little sacrifice on hanging out with my son because my wife will take care of my son today. I'll take care of him tomorrow. Practice isn't a big deal, but the game is, right? And you start measuring these times as being a mom, Evelyn, like, okay, you have a husband. Can my husband take care of my son during X? Do I really want to be there? Does this opportunity mean the world to me? Well, I need to be there on this. And so this is how I want you to measure that out, Evelyn, when you're thinking about that goal. Hope that all makes sense.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So I have a bunch more here, but I'll tell you what, this is motivational money Monday Mastermind, all the M's. So I'm just gonna be bringing it first Monday of the month, every single month. Questions, feedback, anything, Evelyn or Steve. I've got a lot more, but I want to hear also how I can help you guys and serve you guys.
No, this is a really good start, Joe, because I really like the reminder about some of the basics, right? Like going back to the hour of power and the 5-5-4 and even the meds, the meditation, exercise, diet, sleep, like just those reminders that of the foundation for growing, for developing and growing a business. I think those are a really good starting point for our discussion.
Perfect, perfect. And if you were just watching this on the playback, guys, this is what our Mondays are about. All right. Today happens to be the science and skill of staying motivated. I went very deep into a lot of different things on staying motivated. And maybe the next Monday, we're going to be talking more about money. Maybe next Monday, we're going to be talking more about, accountability. And I'm going to have topics every single month that I will prepare and I will make sure that I bring some very, very valuable stuff. I'm not going to wing it at all. Where, again, you have invested with me your time, energy, focus, attention, and I want to invest right back to you. And part of it is a little selfish. Like I said, I want to get stuff out of it too to keep me motivated, to keep me making more money, to keep me inspired and going and going and going. So, this is a different format from our Tuesday weekly. Our Tuesday will still keep going the same as we've been doing. These first Monday of every month is going to be a little bit different. Kind of this format, like I shared. And once in a while, we might have a guest that will bring it around what we're talking about with masterminds, motivation, money. Okay. You enjoy it, Steve?
It
Evelyn?
was good. I really enjoyed this today, Joe. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Evelyn, any comments, questions, concerns, anything? Okay, that's okay. She's probably
Yeah,
multitasking. Okay,
I
cool.
did finish the book you recommended last time, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, right?
Nice.
And so, do you have any other book you recommend specifically in sales?
In sales, okay. I've got a lot of different ones that I'd probably recommend. You ever read Spin Selling?
No. Is that about a realtor?
Uh, it's more on sales.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you need a realtor book or
No, maybe just a. Uh, I'm trying to get back into my groove and my momentum. So, a book about real estate, business.
okay, one of my favorite books is this book I was given long, long, long time ago. Okay. And I've read this book. You ever read The Magic of Thinking Big?
I don't think so. No.
I'd write that one down. I'd write that one down and I would read it and read it and read it because I shared this actually earlier. When some of you have these goals, they're not big enough. If your why doesn't make you cry, they're not big enough. You got to get really emotional about your pain or your pleasure goal. They've got to be very moving. Otherwise, you're not moved to do it. Sounds redundant, but that's the truth. If you don't feel motivated to move, you're not going to do it. And the difference between the great producer in real estate versus the average is usually that they just don't think big enough. You know what? I just want to pay my bills. In real estate, sorry to say, if you're watching this, that man, if you're making 100,000, you're actually kind of broke. You might as well stick to your regular job because if you think about nights, weekends, almost 7 days a week, minus your expenses, you're actually probably pulling in like 60,000 or 50,000. And I want you to take this very, very seriously, whoever's watching this, and even you, Steve, Evelyn, whoever else. This is why I want people to make like a 500,000 or more. If you're going to get in real estate, I would strongly suggest your minimum goal should be a 500,000. Your minimum goal should be a half a million or more. And when I coach, some of you already know this, you're already making that money, and typically when I coach somebody is usually they're probably making a half a million or more, or they have $1 million net worth or more because I want players, and I want to show this to whoever might be watching this, maybe experiencing me for the first time ever. This is a roadmap. You can take a quick picture of that. Is basically, you go from number one is no budget, no leads to diversify lead gen to get consistent convert. I like to coach people from 4 through 7. And number 7 is hopefully you start to create passive income. And then number 8, exit plan succession strategy. Maybe Evelyn, to get the motivation back, for me, I'm beyond like number 1, which is no budget, no leads. These people are typically just really trying to get by. For me, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you might want to study that too, Evelyn, and whoever's watching this, or Steve too. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Do you know what that's about, Steve?
Yeah, I studied this in education, but yeah, it's really about the things that are most important for health. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, health, well-being, et cetera, et
yeah.
cetera. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay, and let me see if I could pull this up real quick. And this might help Evelyn put everything into perspective. So here it is. I'm going to share my screen. If you're in a funk, please also study this, guys. This is another bonus I think I could give you guys right here. Okay, so this
Yeah.
is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And where I'm at, I would like to say, is more on the very top of the pyramid called self-actualization. Why I do what I do is it feeds a lot into self-actualization. Most people are at maybe number 2, safety needs. They need, security. They want to make sure food, shelter, clothing. That's kind of basic. Then when they go beyond that, they want to feel like, okay, I'm making money, I'm doing all right. Let me go beyond that. Let me work on my relationship, maybe my friendships, maybe my family. You get beyond that. Now it's about confidence, self-esteem. I won't spend too much time on this because we're actually out of time just about. But study this too, Evelyn, to help you get back on track and motivated, whatever. That would also help. Magic of thinking big. I would study that like crazy. Um, I would recommend write down your goals on pain and pleasure. And maybe because I think you missed the first part of this, watch this again to catch the first part because there's a lot of different things I went into earlier that I think could really, really help you and everybody else out on getting back to motivation, staying on track, and having an incredible big year. Okay.
Thank you. It's not that I don't have my motivation and momentum. I think I'm just putting it n- not in the wrong places, but definitely not in real estate sales. I'm focusing a lot of my time finding and funding my own flips. And so I'm conflicted now. Like, do I want to stick to sales? Do I want to stick to flipping? So that's my confusion right now.
Wow, that's a kind of a great place to be. Evelyn, I've coached a lot of people where they're in a crossroad, and I would just like fast forward it as far as you can. 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. Is this something you could find yourself doing 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now? If you go you pick one of these roads, and you could look back like, okay, this is ultimately where I want to be. You also want to look at like other people that went down this path, like the Wizard of Oz, right? Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. The follow. I mean, maybe watch that movie because ultimately one of these roads is going to be the gold mine at the end of the rainbow for you. I don't know what it is, Evelyn. So I'm just trying to give you some tools to help you figure it out. Because again, you're at a great place, but it kind of goes back to that one thing. What's going to make you happy, not just make you the most amount of money. Because I went to Texas recently and I watched the Christopher Reeve story. Christopher Reeve, have you ever seen that movie, Steve or Evelyn?
No, I haven't.
No.
Oh, I would watch that movie. One of the greatest movies or documentaries. It was about Superman. And, Superman eventually broke his neck and got paralyzed. Well, I'll spoil a little bit. Robin Williams was one of Christopher Reeve's best friends. Robin Williams had everything. He seemed very, very, very happy. He was making a lot of people laugh. Christopher Reeve was one of his best friends. And he relied on Christopher Reeve a lot. When he couldn't make it, Christopher Reeve got sick and got worse and then died. Robin Williams fell into major depression and got worse and worse. He eventually killed himself, right? And
Hmm.
so, where was I going with that one? Money, joy, happiness isn't the only motivation. Where like I would pick one of these roads, Evelyn, whether it's fixing and flipping, building a team, being a great agent, which one is it will give you not just a great amount of money, but also make you happy. Because I've coached several people this year, Evelyn, that actually built a lot of teams that no longer wants a team. They're like, you know what? Screw this 15, 30, 100 people team. You know what I tell them? If you want to build a team, the best team is what we call the SEAL Team 6 model. And I could talk about that a little bit more on our next mastermind or whatever. But I want you to start really getting clarity on 3 months, 6 months, a year, 6 years from now, picking one of these roads. Where will it eventually lead me up to? If it's multifamily, you know what? Hector is a great example, Evelyn, where you could kind of like look at his lifestyle, look at his success. That was a great choice. There's other people that have made other choices in the fix and flip. There's other people that made it as a great agent. I was coaching somebody, Evelyn, his dad. Do you know Sperry Van Ness, Evelyn?
No.
Sperry Van Ness is one of the biggest commercial companies in California, um, if not one in the nation. And so one of the Sperry was one of the founders of that company. I was coaching his son at one point, and I go, dude, why don't you stick to commercial? He goes, dude, I tried it, I gave it my all, and there was several times where I was looking at a six-figure or a seven-figure check how I was so close. And coach, you know what happened? Nothing. I did not close that deal. And that's why I don't do commercial. I'm actually focusing on residential because I want that consistency. And I checked him out and he's still in residential and he's happy and he has a big team and he's happy. I haven't checked with him in a while, but he just stuck with residential. This is why I like being a resi-mercial because I could do both. I could do both. You know, um, I still like my friends and family, and I still want to help them buy and sell houses. As a matter of fact, I'm meeting with somebody tomorrow who's bought and sold like about a half a dozen homes residential. Super easy transaction. they pay cash almost all the time. Why should I go through brain damage with all these other clients when I know I'll have a few investors or friends and family like that? They don't question me. They don't give me crap about my commission. Those are slam dunk. I'm not going to turn away a 10, 20, $30,000 check. So I'm going to do those, commercial. There's reasons why I'll do mainly acquisition dispo because quite frankly, I don't like leasing. I've this one attorney I was showing, God, umpteen dozen properties, and I haven't made a single cent. And so I know I don't want to do leases. And so you got to really go through some of these exercises to figure out what do I want, what do I don't want. And you're looking at all these forks in the road. And I'm not just talking to you, Evelyn. I'm talking to anybody who's watching this. My kids are in college. Well, my son is. My daughter already graduated. I go, son, daughter, you got to do all these internships to figure out what you really, really want, what you don't want. When I was at San Diego State, I did like 3 or 4 internships, and I figured out I didn't want to work for the government and do a government job, and that's why I really stuck to sales because I was in several different internships, and I was like, man, if this is where I see my life in 3 years, 30 years from now, I was looking at the people ahead of me, Evelyn, and I was like, man, this is a path I'm going. I don't want to be that person, and you want to kind of look at these forks in the road. Which fork are you going to resonate with the most? And then maybe pick that path. So I'm going to start wrapping it up. We're about the end of the session here, but hopefully you guys took a lot of takeaways. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. We're going to be doing this every single month, whether you're here or not. I'm going to keep showing up, keep bringing it, and meeting's adjourned.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. And Evelyn, Steve, again, you guys are in my inner circle. Feel free to reach out anytime. Call me, email me, text me. You guys are the privileged few for sure. And I mean that sincerely. And so whenever I throw stuff out there and share that with you, I mean that sincerely. You guys have earned that right. Call me, email me, text me in any time. And for the rest of you that are watching, you earned it too for at least 1 month. Every single month, you're gonna get me for open Zoom, whatever. You pay attention. And for the rest of you, if you want to step it up, get into the inner circle like Steve and Evelyn, sign up for one-on-one coaching, what have you. We can talk further. But meeting's adjourned. See you guys next month.
You bet. Thanks, Joe.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.